So in the last lecture, we spoke about the principle of compositionality. Now to recap, we said that there were four main problems that the principle of compositionality cannot explain so far. The first was the difference between sentence and speaker meaning. The second was the problem of contextualized meaning. The third was the problem of knowledge, or the knowledge problem, the one that talks about the difference between linguistic knowledge and world knowledge. The fourth was the problem of individual differences. But guess what? There's a fifth problem we still haven't talked about. This problem is actually the most important problem and the biggest problem that the principle of compositionality is facing. This problem is called the problem of circularity, and that's our topic for now. So let's discuss the problem of circularity. So just looking at the word level here, to take things simple, take the word coffee again. Recall that the first problem in identifying the meaning of the word coffee was that there were tons of individual differences. Like we said, for me, coffee might be black, hot, and bitter. For you, it might be creamy, cold, and sweet. And still for others, it might be a mix of both. It might be black, cold, and sweet. So let's just take any one for now and take a definition of the word coffee. We could say it is a hot drink from beans grown in Colombia that is black in color and bitter in taste. So let's think about the best case scenario here. That would be that the entire world agrees upon one thing, okay, which is one definition of the word coffee. Now that still wouldn't be enough, because take a situation where we have a robot and we want to teach this robot the meaning of the word coffee. So we can go in and program this robot and say, okay, here's the word coffee, and this word means a hot drink from beans grown in Colombia that is black in color and bitter in taste. The robot would say, okay, great, but there's one little problem. I still need you to define for me the meaning of a, the meaning of hot, the meaning of drink, the meaning of from, beans, black, Colombia, bitter, taste, all of this. So we say fine. We give the robot the meaning of the word hot as it is in the dictionary. We go and give them the meaning of the word drink, from, beans, black, all of this. Now the meaning of the word drink, for example, involves more words, to which the robot would reply, define those words too. So we end up in a circular situation. We want the definition of a word, but the definition of a word is more words, which also need their own definition. This is the problem of circularity. So we just talked about the fifth problem for the principle of compositionality, and that was circularity. Now what solution do we have for the problem of circularity? What if, in defining the word coffee, instead of defining it with words, we defined it with code or numbers? So we can assign the word coffee, for example, a code like that. We can assign the word gold another code, which might involve a letter G, 111001001. This way, no two words would ever have the same exact meaning. And not only that, we don't need to go back and also define the numbers. Now it's a bit more complex than that, but for now, this will do as an explanation for this class. So why did we choose to define the word using code or numbers? Well, because we want a language that would explain language, but not be the same language. You can't explain one thing with the same exact thing. You need something else to use to explain the first thing. So you need a language that is free from any individual differences, free from any variable interpretation. You don't want a language where each and every person would interpret it in their own way. This is why we come up with something called a meta-language. The use of code and numbers or algorithms is an example of a meta-language. And now to sum up where we are so far, the principle of compositionality came as a solution to explaining productivity. The principle of compositionality alone suffered some problems. The first was a difference between sentence meaning and speaker meaning. The second was a difference between contextualized meaning and normal meaning. Then there was the knowledge problem, which was the two types, the linguistic knowledge and world knowledge. Then there were the individual differences. And the last problem was a problem of circularity when we came to define words. The solution we came up with for circularity was the use of a meta-language. And that sums up the idea of productivity and the principle of compositionality with all its problems.